Coming up this morning, people from across the state come together in Peoria to say their final goodbyes to George Shadid.
Plus, cracking a case with technology, how police are turning to cell phones to solve a 16-year-old girl's murder.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Mark Well.
And I'm Alyssa Paldo. Welcome to WMBD This Morning.
People from around the state paying their respects to a longtime Peoria law enforcement officer and lawmaker.
George Shadid was a Peoria police officer for 23 years before becoming sheriff in 1976, a position he held until 1993. He will be laid to rest this morning.
Shadid then served as a state senator until 2006, a seatmate with Barack Obama. WMBD has learned Mr. Obama has been in contact with the Shadid family to express his condolences. Former police chief John Stenson says Central Illinois is a better place because of George Shadid.
George was a good man, and the Bible says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. He had the things he did in this community live longer than a person lives his life. And that was the good thing about it. But he did it for the right reason. And because he did it for the right reasons, a lot of people benefited.
Shadid was 88. The funeral is at St. Charbel Catholic Church today at 10 a.m. with visitation 1 hour prior. Memorial donations can be made to the Easter Seals Autism Unit and the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Peoria.
We now know a Bureau County teen died after meeting a man on the internet. According to the sheriff's office, Diamond Bradley met Richard Henderson online and agreed to meet him on January 24th. She wasn't seen again until days later when she was found stabbed to death along a rural county road. Authorities believe Henderson picked up Bradley from her home and took her to Putnam County, where they eventually fought and she was killed. Authorities say cell phone records and surveillance cameras linked Henderson to the crime.
We had a tremendous amount of support from the community, from the local business owners, and very, very good police work by a lot of dedicated detectives that led us to this person.
Henderson faces charges of concealing a homicide, but additional charges are expected. He's being held at the LaSalle County Jail.
Peoria Public Schools considering changing the names of one of its schools. District leaders have been discussing the possibility of changing the name of Woodrow Wilson Primary School after a teacher said she believed the district needs more representation from minorities and women. But some at last night's meeting think other schools, such as Charter Oak, should be considered as well. Ultimately, the school board will have the final say on any name changes. The next public input meeting will be February 22nd at Valeska Hinton.
Meanwhile, Dunlap school leaders are discussing plans to build onto one of their middle schools. Last night, the board talked about the possibility of building 4 additions to Dunlap Valley Middle School. Space would also be set aside for more expansion if needed in the future. If everything goes according to plan, the district hopes to move into the added space by July of next year.
A task force will meet next week to review an assessment report of the plumbing at the Quincy Veterans Home. Governor Bruce Rauner created the task force after living at the home for a week last month. In its most recent report, the CDC says the state's action to address a Legionnaire's outbreak in 2015 has significantly reduced the number of the disease's cases and the amount of detectable Legionella in the water systems at the home. 13 people died in 3 separate outbreaks at the facility since 2015.
And new this morning, lawmakers in Washington are working to avoid another threat of a government shutdown. House leaders voted last night to pass a short-term spending bill that would keep the government open until March 23rd, but it's unclear if the Senate will follow suit.
Meteorologist Lauren Rainson joins us now, and it looks like most of our area dodged any big snowfall.
Several locations reporting 0 additional accumulation.